कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफल हेतुर्भु मा ते संगोस्त्व कर्मणि.
You have the right to perform your actions, but not to the fruits of those actions. Let not the outcome be your motive, and do not be attached to inaction. This ancient verse from the Bhagavad Gita sets the stage for one of the greatest dilemmas ever recorded: a split-second decision with eternal consequences. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjun, the warrior prince, stood frozen. Facing friends, mentors, and family across the field, he was paralyzed. Not by fear, but by the weight of doing what was right. "I will not fight," he declared. This wasn't just mythology. This was the original case study in human decision-making under pressure. What modern neuroscience calls the speed-accuracy trade-off, Arjun embodied thousands of years ago. A war between System 1 and System 2 thinking. Krishna's guidance to Arjuna was clear. Your actions must arise from clarity, not attachment. Split-second decisions, he taught, aren't created in chaos. They are revealed through discipline, alignment with purpose, and devotion to something greater than the outcome. We often think decisions happen in the moment, but the truth is, your brain has already started making the call before you're even aware of it. Imagine you're walking down a street and hear a sudden screech of tires. Before you think, your body jumps to the side. That wasn't logic. It was instinct, a decision made in milliseconds. So how does your brain do that? Neuroscience tells us we are operating with two main systems. Daniel Kahneman described them as System 1 and System 2. System 1 is fast, automatic, and intuitive. It's your built-in pattern recognizer. System 2 is slow, deliberate, and analytical. It's a system we think we use most, but often don't. Now here's the catch. The faster we act, the more error-prone we become. But if we wait too long, we miss the moment. This balancing act is what psychologists call the speed-accuracy trade-off, and it's universal. Seen in animals, in pilots, in surgeons, and in you. At the neural level, this comes down to the interaction between three key systems. The amygdala, your brain's early warning system, triggers emotional responses before conscious awareness. The prefrontal cortex, the seat of rational thought, steps in to regulate or override that impulse. And the dopamine system, your brain's internal scoreboard, shapes where your attention goes and how much risk you're willing to take. Recent research shows how finely tuned this network is. The basolateral amygdala and medial prefrontal cortex work like partners, helping you weigh competing inputs in real time. And your dopamine receptors, specifically D1 and D2, affect your style of decision making. D1 keeps you locked into choices, while D2 helps you adapt when things change. It's not about good or bad decisions. It's about having the internal balance to switch when needed and the clarity to commit when it matters. Split-second decisions might feel spontaneous, but beneath the surface, they're shaped by layers of memory, emotion, biology, and attention. Every reflex is a result of training, experience, and the quiet preparation your brain has been doing all along. So the next time you act fast, just know your brain was already ready. Imagine sitting at a trading desk, charts flickering, prices jumping, news ticking in real time. Millions of dollars are at stake, and the decision you make in the next few seconds could change everything. Let's rewind to 1987. Paul Tudor Jones, one of the most respected hedge fund managers of our time, was watching something unsettling unfold. The stock market, in his eyes, was forming a shape he'd seen before, what traders call a parabolic curve. It was eerily similar to the build-up before the infamous 1929 crash. Most people didn't notice it, or if they did, they froze. Jones didn't. He trusted his pattern recognition, built on years of charts, cycles, and instinctive learning, and made a bold move. When the market crashed on Black Monday, his funds returned 62% that October. While panic rippled through Wall Street, Paul Tudor Jones stood calm. Not because he saw the future, but because he had trained himself to recognize it forming. This wasn't guesswork. This was expert intuition, a type of decision-making that feels instant but is powered by thousands of hours of exposure to patterns, pressure, and feedback. Research confirms this. Seasoned traders don't just use spreadsheets, they blend gut feel with analysis. One study even described a 50-50 split. Traders use charts, catalysts, and news, but also intuition built from tape reading and market rhythm. When every second counts, you're not just reacting, you're drawing from a well of experience so deep that your brain doesn't need permission to act. That's what separates amateurs from legends on the trading floor. Intuition in trading isn't magic. It's memory, well-organized, well-trained, and lightning fast. In high-stake games like Resident Evil, every second counts. You're low on ammo, a monster is around the corner, and you need to decide fight or flee. These aren't just adrenaline-fueled moments, they're real-time exercises in risk assessment, pattern recognition, and cognitive control. Games like Resident Evil force players to make tactical decisions under pressure, triggering what neuroscientists call cognitive load. Players must assess threats, manage resources, and anticipate consequences, all in a matter of seconds. The constant presence of looming threats like Mr. X stimulates high-stress environments where decisions can't be postponed. Meanwhile, Undertale introduces a different kind of pressure, moral judgment. Every encounter challenges players to act with aggression or mercy, with irreversible narrative consequences. It's a lesson in emotional decision-making, quick, value-based choices that alter everything. Science backs it up. Gaming activates brain regions linked to attention, executive function, and visual processing. Over time, it strengthens the brain's reward system and executive control, essential tools for split decision-making in real life. Games aren't just for entertainment, they are training grounds. They teach us to think fast, adapt faster, and recognize that even in fiction, our decisions shape the outcome. Fear, when portrayed well, doesn't just scare us, it teaches us something about clarity under pressure. In Get Out, Chris, the protagonist, isn't just running from danger, he's decoding it in real time. When he stuffs cotton in his ears to block the hypnotic trigger, that decision isn't rehearsed. It's improvisation born from the high-stakes awareness, recognizing the pattern and acting on instinct. It's split-second thinking sharpened by fear and necessity. In A Quiet Place, every sound is a potential death sentence. The Abbott family doesn't just survive, they adapt. They scan the environment constantly, measure risks instantly, and respond with precision. The film turns silence into strategy, showing how fear can narrow our focus and amplify our capacity to choose wisely in milliseconds. And then there's 127 Hours. Aaron Ralston's decision to amputate his arm is one of the most extreme examples of survival clarity ever documented. It wasn't panic, it was presence. Trapped alone for days, he reached a moment of radical clarity, choosing life over limb. That's the paradox of fear. It can disorient, but in the right dose, it can distill what matters most. Neuroscience backs this up. Under acute stress, our brains shift gears. The amygdala heightens attention to threats, often improving accuracy in high-risk choices. In other words, fear, if understood, doesn't weaken decision-making, it sharpens it. Arjun didn't pick up his bow because he found courage in that instant. He picked it up because the groundwork had already been laid. In his dharma, in his clarity, in the stillness cultivated before the chaos. Split-second decisions feel spontaneous, but they are not. They are echoes of every pattern you've ever seen, every breath you've calmed, every value you've chosen when no one was watching. We act fast when we've already done the slow inner work. You cannot predict every crisis, but you can prepare for the clarity that cuts through it. So, the next time life throws you into chaos, pause. Remember, you are not your panic. You are the sum of your training, your breath, your purpose. Split-second decisions aren't tests of bravery. They are reflections of who you've already become. If this episode stirred something in you, stay with us and support the channel. We are dismantling the truths of life one neuron at a time. I'm Siona Verghese, and this is Code Neuron.